The Gulf Coast is known for beaches, fishing boats, oil platforms, and cargo ships. Millions of Americans visit these shores each year. To most people, these waters seem far removed from the battlefield of World War II. But during 1942 and 1943, the Gulf became a war zone. German submarines hunted American shipping from Texas to Florida. Tankers exploded in the darkness. Merchant sailors died within sight of American shores. For a brief period, the Gulf Coast became one of the front lines of the Second World War.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan.
On December 7th, 1941, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor. 4 days later, Germany declared war on the United States. Admiral Karl Dönitz, commander of Germany's submarine fleet, saw an opportunity. American coastal defenses were unprepared for submarine warfare. Ships often sailed independently. Coastal cities remained illuminated at night. To German commanders, the United States appeared vulnerable. Beginning in early 1942, German U-boats crossed the Atlantic and attacked shipping along the American coastline. The campaign became known as Operation Drumbeat. Initial successes off the East Coast encouraged German commanders to expand operations into the Gulf. The Gulf was a critical artery of the American war effort. Oil from Texas and Louisiana moved through the Gulf ports. Cargo ships carried raw materials, food, fuel, and military supplies. New Orleans, Mobile, Houston, and Tampa were essential links in a massive transportation network supporting Allied operations around the world. Disrupting that network offered Germany a chance to damage American war production. By the spring and summer of 1942, German submarines were operating throughout the Gulf. These vessels traveled thousands of miles from bases in occupied France. Once in American waters, they stalked shipping lanes, waiting for opportunities to strike. Many merchant ships remained lightly defended. Some had no escorts at all. The attacks often came without warning. A torpedo would strike. Seconds later, an explosion would rip through a tanker or cargo vessel. Fire spread rapidly. Ships listed and sank. Crews scrambled for lifeboats while burning fuel illuminated the night sky. News of sinking spread quickly through Gulf Coast communities. Residents realized the war had come much closer than they had imagined. Coastal blackouts were implemented in many areas to make ships harder for submarines to identify. The Coast Guard expanded patrols. Civil Air Patrol volunteers flew reconnaissance missions. Aircraft searched for signs of enemy submarines. What had once been a peaceful coastline became part of America's defensive network. Among the German submarines operating in the Gulf was U-166, commanded by Hans Gunther Kuhlmann. Like many German crews, the men aboard had crossed the Atlantic to wage war against Allied shipping. Their mission was straightforward: sink ships and disrupt American logistics. In July 1942, U-166 entered the Gulf and began searching for targets. One of those targets would become central to one of the most remarkable stories of the Gulf campaign. Passenger cargo ship Robert E. Lee departed New Orleans on July 30th, 1942. On board were civilians, merchant mariners, and military personnel. The vessel sailed with an escort, the patrol craft PC-566. Despite the escort, danger remained close at hand beneath the waters of the Gulf. Shortly after 4 p.m., U-166 launched a torpedo attack. One torpedo struck the Robert E. Lee. The explosion caused immediate damage. The crew began abandoning ship as water poured into the vessel. Lifeboats were launched and rescue efforts began. Within approximately 15 minutes, the ship sank beneath the surface. 25 people lost their lives. As survivors entered the water, PC-566 moved into action. The escort vessel's crew detected what they believed was the attacking submarine. Depth charges were deployed. Moments later, a powerful underwater explosion occurred. Officers aboard PC-566 believed they had destroyed U-166. However, the story did not end there. Official Navy records later credited an aircraft with the sinking of the submarine. The crew of PC-566 insisted they had made the kill, but their claims were largely dismissed. A mystery had begun. For decades, historians debated the fate of U-166. Then, in 2001, oil survey crews searching the Gulf floor discovered something remarkable. They located the wreck of the Robert E. Lee. Nearby, they found the wreck of U-166. The location of the submarine revealed the truth. U-166 had been destroyed shortly after attacking the passenger ship. The evidence supported what the crew of PC-566 had claimed all along. Their counterattack had sunk the submarine. After nearly 60 years, the record was finally corrected. The wrecks of both vessels remain on the floor of the Gulf today. They serve as underwater memorials to those who lived and died during the campaign. They also remind us that World War II was not fought only in distant oceans and foreign countries. It reached American waters and threatened the nation's supply lines. Merchant mariners played a critical role in that victory. Their ships transported fuel, food, troops, and supplies. Without them, Allied operations would have been impossible. Yet their sacrifices are often overlooked. The story of the Gulf Campaign helps restore part of that forgotten history. Today, fishing boats cross waters once patrolled by German submarines. Families relax on beaches where wartime observers once watched the horizon. Most visitors never realize that beneath the waves lie the remains of ships and submarines from a forgotten battle.